Evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the November Steering Legislative and Governmental Committee meeting to order. First item of business, we need to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Call on Vice Chairman Commissioner Gooch.
I move for approval, Mr. Chair.
A motion, we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we need to announce 2 vacancies on the Correctional Works Center Board. We need to announce 3 vacancies on the Agricultural Advisory Board. We need to announce 3 vacancies on the Community Care Board.
One.
Oh, well, we put 3 more people. Announce a vacancy. I apologize. I'm reading 2 things at once. On the Community Care Board, and announce a vacancy for the coroner. Next, we need to fill a vacancy on the Codes Enforcement Adjustments and Appeals Board. Commissioners, I believe we received 1 application for that board of James Averwater. Mr. Averwater here. Would you care to address the committee, sir?
My name's Jim Averwater, and for those of you who have had to sit and endure my public speaking, you know I'm not real good at it. But fortunately, I don't think this position that you're looking to fill, this vacancy, has any public speaking involved. You just need somebody that knows a little bit about building. I've been building 24 years. I am past president and former chairman of the board for the Rutherford County Home Builders Association. I'm one of 3 graduate builders in Middle Tennessee that I'm aware of. I'm a certified green professional and certified professional builder, one of 4 in Rutherford County. I'm also a member of the Rutherford County Codes Officials Association, who's, if you guys are at all familiar with them, it's members of codes, all the codes officials, the county and city codes officials, the inspectors, and certain people from the building community, where we get together and we discuss codes issues, changes that are coming up in the code, how we're going to interpret those codes, and what's the best way to get the word out and educate the builders and tradesmen on the job. That's why I feel like I'm suited for this, and David Jones asked me to come down and apply for that.
Any questions from the committee?
Got 1 opening and 1 applicant. Motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of guests that I promised to call attention to these 2 young ladies. Back in the back there is Desiree Gaines and Shannon Payne, and they're here tonight to get your signature, Chairman Coggin. But among other things, they're Riverdale Warriors. I'm proud of it. And they're visiting our committee tonight for one of their teachers. And you told me, was Miss Phillips? Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know that I've ever met her, and she may be here for all I know, but I don't believe I know her. But anyway, they're visiting us to see the real workings of county government. There
you go. There's not a better committee to come see.
Well, I certainly agree with that.
And they've got my signature, and you've put them on TV, so they can leave now.
That's up to them.
That's all they need for an A. Excellent. It's great to have you here with us. All right. Next, we need to fill an alternate vacancy on the beer board to fill the unexpired term of Michael Anderson, set to expire October 2014. Commissioners, I believe we've received 2 applications for this 1 position, Cheryl Nelson and Jimmy Richardson. Is Cheryl Nelson in the audience? Would you care to address the committee?
My name is Cheryl Nelson. I just recently became available to try to kind of get my foot in the door. I heard that there was an opening for an alternate through my good friend Shantae Sherrill here, and so just thought it sounded like something I would be interested in doing.
Any questions for Ms. Nelson? And Mr. Richardson.
Good evening, folks. Thank you very much for letting me be here. The opportunity to see you guys in county government working on this committee means a lot to me as well. Even though I went to Blackman instead of Riverdale, I still have my Blackman pride. I'm from Rutherford County, graduated from Blackman 2004, MTSU in 2009. I'm a 27-year-old optician by day and law student by night. In fact, I have a final exam right after this, which explains this sort of grizzly beard that I normally don't have. It's a superstition, but that's aside the point. I was raised by my mother, and she instilled in me at an early age that public service and service to others is sort of the nadir, the pinnacle of what you can do for other people. And so when someone told me there was an opening on the Historical Zoning Board in Smyrna, I jumped on that, and I've been doing that for about a year now. And it has been one of the most rewarding things I've been able to do. We've done a lot for small businesses in that district. And so when Jared Barrett called me a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, there's a position open here on the beer board, I think you would do great at it, I jumped on it too. So I ask for your support, your vote, encouragement, good jokes, anything you've got really. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Any questions for Mr. Richardson?
I'll make a motion, we nominate both of them and elect one.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All righty. Ms. Becky, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Black,
Mr. Richardson.
Commissioner Farley,
Ms. Nelson.
Commissioner Gooch,
Mrs. Nelson.
Commissioner Jordan,
Mr. Richardson.
Commissioner McAdoo,
Richardson.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Mr. Richardson.
Commissioner Coggin,
Nelson.
4 for Richardson, 3 for Nelson.
That's close.
Mr. Richardson, you will be recommended to the full commission on November, is it 15th? Does that sound right? Sorry.
Sounds right.
Around
Yeah,
that.
November
November
15th.
15th to the full commission. All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Next, we need to fill 2 vacancies on the insurance committee. These are citizens at large vacancies. And we have received the 4 applications. Donna Andrews, Dr. Barham, Greg Hall, Penny Hooper, and I'm sorry, 5, Lois Miller. Donna Andrews, would you care to address the committee?
Yes, sir. My name is Donna Andrews. I've lived in Rutherford County for over 30 years. I worked at Rutherford Hospital, which is now MTMC, as a human resources manager. Left here, opened up another hospital in South Carolina from the ground up. I serve on the Salvation Army Advisory Board, and I feel that with my knowledge and experience, I might be able to bring something and also give something back to the community. And thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Andrews?
I got a question. Who's your commissioner?
Sitting right there in the blue shirt, sir. District 13.
Well, why didn't he introduce you earlier?
I cut my hair.
All right, thank you, Ms. Andrews.
I got a question.
Okay, yes.
In your job as HR at the hospital, I guess, how involved were you in the benefits?
It was a 50-75 with benefits. 50 being HR, 75 being benefits. I did all the retirement, the recruiting, worked up bids for when our insurance policies would change or when we wanted to bid out our insurance and get other vendors. So I was deeply involved in it.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ms. Andrews? Dr. Nolan Barham. Let's see, Greg Hall. Penny Hooper. And Lois Miller. Let's see her. There she is. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Lois Miller, and I'd like to offer my services up for the Insurance Committee. I have over 15 years of experience in the insurance industry and risk management, most recently as financial analysis and underwriting for a large healthcare company serving national scope clients. Prior to that, I worked with the insurance department and handled with the team there several important things that happened during the time that I worked there. We had we increased the benefits that were offered to the employees. We added the on-the-job injury program, and less popular but just as important, we started working on the GASB situation to help limit the liability that the county would have going forward on that. I'm sure you've probably less than fondly.
That less than
But,
fondly.
I do have significant experience from property and casualty, risk management, health insurance, and all types of benefits programs. So I appreciate being considered. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Any questions for Ms. Miller? See none. Any questions for any of the applicants that are here? All right. Do we have a motion?
Question.
Question?
Well, after we do that, I guess is there 2 openings? Is
There
that
are
correct?
2 vacancies, yes.
I'll make a motion, we nominate all of them and vote for 2.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Did you have another question?
I have one.
Okay.
Is it any reappointments?
There is one reappointment, Mr. Hall, Greg Hall.
Okay.
I believe he's the only reappointment. The rest of them are new applicants. Any other questions? We are voting on 2 folks out of these 5. All right, seeing none, Ms. Becker, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Black,
Ms. Andrews and Mr. Hall.
Commissioner Farley,
Ms. Andrews and Mr. Hall.
Commissioner Gooch,
Mrs. Andrews and Ms. Miller.
Commissioner Jordan,
Andrews and Hall.
Commissioner McAdoo,
Excuse me, Andrews and Miller.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Andrews and Miller.
Commissioner Coggin,
Hall and Miller.
Ms. Andrews has 6 votes, Mr. Hall and Ms. Miller have 4 each.
Congratulations, Ms. Andrews and Ms. Miller. You'll be no.
No?
I'm sorry, getting all carried away. Telling you. All right. This is always a fun time. All right, so we will need to vote on between Hall and Miller.
Can we ask questions at this point?
No.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Well, it's not really a good idea anyway, because Mr. Hall's not here. And I want him to have an opportunity to respond. Withdraw that comment.
Does anybody know how long Mr. Hall served on the insurance?
Since 2000. So 12 years, according to his application.
Right. Okay.
I'll say this, nothing against Ms. Miller what I'm fixing to say, but right now we've got an ex-director of the insurance committee that's on there now, Ms. Susan Boney. And I think if we have another ex-insurance director on there, you know, that's kind of, and Greg Hall has been on there for a good, you know, he served on the committee back when I was on the insurance committee. You know, and I think Greg has done a good job, so that's kind of my reasons for what I'm fixing to vote for. Just throwing it out there, food for thought.
Well, I don't mind putting in my 2 cents then. I'm on vote for Ms. Miller like I did before, strictly because she was all that. And I think it'd be an asset to the committee, no doubt. Appreciate you applying and everyone else that applied. Nothing against Mr. Hall, but one thing, he's not here. And I think you need to be here if you're interested in the committee. Something might have come up or something. I don't know, but
he could be working
and like I said, he's had 12 years of service here, which is greatly appreciated. I know he's served well on that committee, but I'm gonna have to go with Ms. Miller.
Well, as long as we're commenting. As I've explained just my feelings only to many different people that have applied for a committee. If I don't have if a person is serving on the committee and has done a good job, why shouldn't I vote for them for renewal? Now, I understand you got, I understand. And Mr. Hall has done that. I don't have, and I won't vote for Mr. Hall again. However, I want to be very fair here. I had some dealings a couple of years ago with Ms. Miller on an extremely difficult case of a constituent in my district, and she really impressed me with her knowledge of what she was doing. And I think served us well. And also, just as an aside, this doesn't really have anything to do with any candidate, but as we all are aware, the insurance costs are killing us. They're killing our teachers, but they're also killing our budget. And they're killing the school board's budget. A great deal of their increase this last time was insurance cost, which I guess we all are very much aware of. And I think either one of these people, and I hope Ms. Andrews as well, will be cognizant of that and to do everything possible that you can, particularly for our county employees. With that said, thank you for your 2 minutes there. I appreciate it.
Kind of like Commissioner
Well,
Carter.
since everybody else is talking, I'll say something.
You want to say it?
Yeah, I'm gonna say something. I'm presently on the insurance committee now, and there was one statement made in that presentation that Gatsby 45 is on us, and it is a major project. And when Miss Miller was at the Rim, she did work on Gatsby 45. Now, if it was any way possible, with her knowledge, I would resign from the insurance committee and give it to her, because that is going to be one big project to resolve, and it's coming to the commission one day. And so we need to be on top of that. So in saying that, expertise on Gatsby 45 is the reason I would vote for Milton.
Anybody else?
I don't have a motion. Or do we just call it roll?
Guess we just vote on those two. Do we need a motion to vote on those two?
Well, we got
Motion
we
to
got a
nominate
tie.
both of them then and vote on one.
Yeah.
Mr. Hall and Ms. Miller, to make it official.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Becky, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Black,
Mr. Hall,
Commissioner Farley,
Mr. Hall,
Commissioner Gooch,
Ms. Miller,
Commissioner Jordan,
Mr. Hall,
Commissioner McAdoo,
Miss Miller,
Commissioner Sandlin,
Ms. Miller,
Commissioner Coggin.
Mr. Hall.
Mr. Hall has 4, Ms. Miller has 3.
We'd like to thank all the applicants for their willingness to serve.
absolutely.
And
Thank you, Ms.
Mr. Hall and Ms. Andrews will be recommended to the full commission on November 15th.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Next, we have amendment to Rule 4, Section A of the Commission Rules. This has been referred from the county commission meeting to us. And Robert, if you want to come up, you can do your thing.
Good evening, friends.
good evening.
Several months ago, we all get these in the mail every month, and I began to wonder why we were getting these in the snail mail. And then about 3 weeks ago, I was reading through the commissioner handbook, and I discovered why. And of course, we discussed this at the commission meeting, but Mr. Spence sends out the mail to us to comply with this rule that we discussed, and said the county clerk shall compose a digest at each meeting and distribute it out to all the commissioners and all the county office departments and so forth. So to save Mr. Spence time and to save the county money, it made sense to me to add some words in there to make it to where they could send it out electronically. And my motion was to add the following language in between the words distribute and not in Rule 4, Section A. And those words are the digest either by U.S. mail or electronically. And the county clerk's office is very supportive of this. Mr. Spence spends quite a bit of time copying and folding and stamping and printing envelopes, and he is much more skilled than that, I believe. I think his time would be spent more effectively doing other things, and he's got a lot of responsibilities and areas where he could be doing work that's more important than stuffing envelopes. So
With OR being in there, a couple people may not have computers, so then they can find out who those are and send them out. Then
Correct.
by mail, still be all right.
correct.
And the rest of it be electronic. Like I said on full commission, I think it's a great idea, Commissioner. I'm gonna be in favor of it, so I'm proud you brought it to our attention. We just need to come through the steering committee process. Mayor, do you have?
Mr. Chairman, these are not being mailed right now, are they, Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Well,
I thought we just put them in the
I
mail.
think we put them in a.
We get them, I get mine in the mail and
Oh,
the
do you?
I get
mail.
both places.
Must be doing both of them, because I think they said we put them in the box.
Yeah, we're getting in the mail.
Okay, so that's an expensive.
There also, at least in my way of thinking, unless I'm badly mistaken here, and that's happened before, but I don't believe that they're on the website. We have every committee agenda, and then thanks to others here at this table, the minutes. Well, I don't believe the digest, which is extremely limited anyway. If you want to see the minutes, you wouldn't consult that digest.
No, you got.
No.
I mean, that thing is, it's just an outline, really.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. If you're going to have to mail it to about 3 people probably, and email the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't come to my computer. But everything else that Ms. Shelton sends out, I get. I don't think the digest, and I don't think it's on there permanently.
See, the digest, that is the summary of the events after the commission meeting.
Right.
Right.
Rick
digest.
Spence does all that.
County clerk's
So,
office.
Ms. Shelton doesn't have any.
Oh, I didn't mean she was supposed to do it. I just
Right,
meant that it's
right.
not there.
Right.
And it should, yeah, I think it ought to be there.
Yeah, the full minutes is over at the county clerk's office if you want to go over there. and
That's
read 'em.
exactly correct, but anybody that wants to look at the minutes of any committee meeting, including this one, can do so very easily, but they cannot look at the minutes unless, of the full commission, unless they do as you suggest.
I think the only commissioner that gets the full minutes is the chairman pro tem.
You don't actually get those.
No,
You have
you
to
don't
go over
get
to
them.
the
You
county
have to
clerk's
go.
office and view them over there.
Well, can we put the digest on the website as well?
Chairman pro tem, I didn't get this here, I got the
If you
minute.
No.
When I was chairman pro tem, you had to go
We
and
put the
get the
digest on the
book.
web.
Take about
and we
4
put the
hours.
minutes
reading
both
all
on the
of
web,
it.
as far as that's concerned.
Does anyone get the digest other than the commissioners or county department heads? Or
That goes to all the county offices, and it goes to all the public libraries. It goes to all the public schools and university libraries, licensed and operating commercial radio and television stations, and then the newspapers. And I assume he mails copies of those to them too. So he could email it or send it by U.S. mail to any of those also. I think it'll save him a lot of time.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
second?
Motion is second.
Well,
Any
what
other
are we
discussion on the
approving?
motion?
Well, hold on just a second.
To email.
We're approving this.
Or
To email or mail?
Or mail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'll go along with it 100%, but I guess I'm just the type of person. If we are doing this for all other departments or whatnot, why can't we look at it in a big package deal? And whatever we can email or whatever from any department, any elected official or whatever, maybe we can look at doing that and just, instead of singling out this one particular piece of item right here.
Well, they've kind of started our agendas and stuff now are on email, instead of.
Yeah, but
sending it to
I
them.
get other stuff, this mail from other departments, that is a part of Rutherford County government. I don't know if we can just look at, maybe emailing it, and, the ones that don't have computers receive the copies in mail or whatever. But I'm gonna support this one particular item here, but I would not like to see it close on this one particular item. If the mayor's office or any other department or whatever got things that they mail out that they think that they can email to us, I think we need to open it up for them to look at and bring it to us, so we can get it done.
If you guys would just, as you get something in the mail, if you'll just let me know, then we can take care of it. We don't have to have anything except just do it.
Okay.
And every commissioner, we're told, I was told that does have access to email now. So it would be helpful, because you were getting stuff that I don't get in the mail, so if you would just tell me what those items are, then we can address it.
Okay, this item has been amended, so I can't amend the amendment, because I won't get this digest on the, I'll just make another motion when we get through. Is that all right?
Okay.
All right.
Any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay,
Commissioner
Mr. Chairman,
Stevens.
I'd
Yes,
like to
sir.
make a motion that we send have the digest posted on the county website each month.
All right. Second motion, you got a second? Get that motion. McAdoo, Commissioner McAdoo. Any discussion on that motion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Commissioners, the agenda on your iPad is not the revised agenda that was emailed out. If you recall, thanks to Commissioner Jordan's evil eye, or I mean eagle eye. sorry.
That's all right.
We had, regarding the time limits for speakers at public hearings that we passed out of this committee and the commission sent back to us for further discussion and review. So therefore, consider it on the table. I think the discussion was that we would give, well, what we passed out of here that the commission sent back gave the chair a lot of flexibility in setting time limits based upon the size of the crowd. Really, just flexibility that he could have. And I think it was more of the feeling of some of us on the committee, as well as some other commissioners, that it should be more, maybe more unified or more consistent. But with that, just leave it to the committee for discussion.
Well, let me ask a question. I thought the county attorney was gonna be here tonight.
I thought he was. We talked that night, but I did not follow up with him. So that could be my fault, not following up closer to the meeting time. He was pretty, I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I sensed from him that night that we need to be pretty consistent and fair with whatever we decided and not have too much back and forth on that.
I have a document that they wrote on September the 10th regarding this. That's only, and nothing since we had our meeting though.
Should we, what have you gotten together, Mayor, as far as the consensus, I guess, of it? You know, we talked about 3 minutes in our public comment time to 5 minutes to one speaker and all this sort of stuff. I got a letter from the community group. What do y'all call it again?
Neighborhood Alliance.
Neighborhood Alliance. There we go. I'm sorry, but and I appreciate that stuff y'all sent me. You know, it was 5 minutes also, and I've heard that for some other folks in 5 minutes. And you know, staying consistent. Are we saying staying consistent with changing what we're doing on our public comments at 5 minutes, or staying consistent of what we have on public comment time 3 minutes? That they have 3 minutes, you know, at the public hearing. So, I mean, that's what I'm asking.
I don't think there's any correlation necessarily between those two.
None at all?
The 3 minutes on our public comment period, I mean, those are in the items they want to talk about just out of the random.
Sure, I understand.
Out of the blue, so they don't, I think that's enough time for them. But now here we're talking about public comments, where those comments they're making are about agenda items that have been publicly noticed to be discussed.
So just a public hearing type thing is what we're talking about.
Or the handbook also addressed your ability to allow a person to speak independent of whether it's on the agenda or off the agenda.
Right.
You can do that. You can suspend your rules,
Right.
allow anyone
Right.
to speak, which you
Right.
have done with some frequency.
Commissioner Jordan?
We asked, of course, other commissioners to have a little input here if they had any, and Commissioner Allen asked me to look this up, at what the school board did. She said she thought I'd be interested in it, and I'll read it. It'll take just a few seconds. Because of the great volume of school business that we must cover, we ask you, this is public participation now, we ask you to limit the length of your presentation. The time that we will allow one individual is 3 minutes. To a large delegation from a school or community, a total of 15 minutes will be allowed. The time to be allocated by the spokesman, so they could divide it up into 2 or 3, whatever, and just appreciate people's cooperation. I don't know if the 3 minutes, I got Ms. Allen, who's here, I got her email today too, and I always appreciate their input. I dismissed that almost immediately. And then I got to thinking about it during the afternoon, and I thought, you know, that 3 minutes, you know, once you give your name and your address, and maybe you just, you know, a person may talk a little slower, whatever, may have some more things to cover. Maybe 4 or 5 minutes might be a little bit, but my point was, that person comes in the door, I think they ought to know how long they have to speak, and to prepare their remarks so that they can get to the point and make the point quickly, and not be redundant. And so that's why I brought it up. Now, the 3 to 5 minutes, I don't really care. It's okay with me. 5 minutes is fine with me. 4 is okay. 3, I can vote for 3. I'm all right. But it's, you know, okay.
Mr. McAdoo?
Do we have to act on this tonight?
I don't think so. If it's deferred past 2 months, then I think it just automatically dies. Is that right? And then we could just make another motion after that.
And
if I understand correctly.
Yeah, and the reason I bring it up is because we're going through a lot of changes now, per se, as planning in this county. We've got this project that these consultants presented to us, and we're making changes to it, and we haven't even finalized that yet. I myself personally would like to see something finalized on that planning document or planning booklet or whatever before I'll be looking at trying to set a time limit on people to speak on these. And the reason I say that because, you know,
It's coming up Thursday.
it's coming up Thursday, number one. And number two,
Next Thursday, I'm sorry.
no, well, the 15th.
Yeah.
But at our last commissioner meeting, we got in a discussion about that planning handbook, and we were all baffled ourselves with some of the things that were presented and got to be ironed out. Now, I hate to throw that out there, then I'm gonna come back and say, hey, now I'm gonna put a time limit on the ones that can speak at these, at the meetings, when we got all this new handbook out there. And that's the reason I asked, can we delay this until we finalize this planning handbook?
Well, right now, if I'm correct, the chairman can place a time on the comments that are in a public hearing now, correct?
Practice stated within Robert's Rules of Order, that's the only authority that the chairman has. It's not in the handbook. Robert's Rules says it's, what does it say? It says it's done under the control of the presiding officer, often by rule or practice. Time limits are placed on speakers and relevance is closely monitored. That's what it says in the Robert's Rules, and that's all it says, nothing else.
We're going to have to also kind of back up what Commissioner McAdoo said. I hadn't really given that any thought, but that's he's probably right about that. And we've also got a road and school board document to look at, and that's also this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Look at, not vote on it. Week from Thursday. I believe we're going to look at. Is it December?
I think it's December.
December. So, and we could have many people that want comment on then too. And I wasn't assuming that when we did this, if we in fact do this eventually, that we were going to do it immediately. I think, you know, we ought to give some leeway time of February, March, or something up there, but I don't think we have to do anything tonight. We can just, somebody make a motion, we can table it till next time.
I mean, I agree with everything being said. I don't think there's any reason to rush into it. I mean, if we can't do it right, we don't want to do it.
And I'd like to have the county attorney here. That way we're not, you know, we're doing it the right way. You know, we don't want to violate anybody's rights or, you know, coming to speak, and I just want to make sure we do it correctly.
If nobody else will, I'll make a motion. We table this. We can table it and readdress it at our next meeting, if and only if we finalize our plan and handbook and some of the other things on the agenda. I don't know how I would make that, but anyway, I would just like to table it until December.
Second.
Motions and a second to table this item to the December meeting. Any discussion on the motion?
Got a question. Somebody help me on this. If we table it, how is that different than deferring it? So I don't want my.
Just in this committee.
You really don't have anything on the floor to table. Just don't take any action.
Right.
Yeah.
See, you had something on the floor, a proposal
Right.
from the mayor that didn't set a time limit. It allowed you to set a time limit, but it didn't set one. So you chosen to defer that.
So if we just don't act.
Yeah. Well, based
Bring
on
it
that,
up next month.
Yeah, based on that, I'll withdraw the motion if we don't need it.
Yeah.
Just don't act.
Well, yeah, and then, so it drops off basically, and we'll have to bring it back up then in December if we want to talk about it.
And just put it back on the agenda.
You can put it on your December 3rd agenda, and if you want to discuss it then.
Under
make
other
a
business,
motion
you can
and
bring it
draft
back up, is what I'm
something.
saying.
If
It
you
won't be on
Put
the
on the
agenda.
floor, then that's what you would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will put it on the agenda again, if you don't choose to do anything tonight about it.
Well, if you don't do anything tonight, it's gonna drop off because we didn't
No,
do
it
it.
won't drop off because two successive meetings will not have passed. You want to.
Right, this is the first one. The December meeting will be the second. one.
Okay, because we sent it there and it's come back.
Right.
Okay, okay. So make it, okay,
Do you want it on the next agenda?
all right. Okay.
Who's the maker of the second?
Commissioner Jordan.
Commissioner Jordan, did you withdraw your second? We want to be correct here.
Very reluctantly. Yes, of course.
Yes, anybody else want to recognize? Any other business?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to just put on the agenda so that then we can, of course, defer it when we get there. No, seriously. Perhaps a committee discussion on documents, publications, bulletin boards for businesses, that sort of thing, that are present in our county, on county property. Let's put it that way. It could be in a building, it could be outside the building. I'd like to discuss that with the committee a little bit. I'm not sure everything we're doing there is totally and completely appropriate.
Say
But
it
it may
again.
be.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I got an idea.
Well,
Say it again.
say it again. We offer, no, that's not the right word. Present on county property, all right, are all kinds of various publications that people put there. All right, I'm not sure that's appropriate use of county property. Also, bulletin boards are put with various information on those bulletin boards that are on county property and in county buildings. I'm not sure that that's appropriate.
Okay.
Can you give an example?
No.
Well, how can we discuss this?
We're not gonna discuss it tonight. We're gonna.
I'll discuss it later.
Yeah, he'll give you a-
Motion
Bring it on
defer.
the agenda. You can't defer it before it comes up.
So you're gonna come back with it next month on something of
Yes,
what you
absolutely.
Okay.
Put it on the agenda.
How would
I
you
just-
like,
I
how
just
how would you
requested
like
that.
Vicky to list that on the agenda?
Very carefully. Um, Publications, and I guess publications would be the best word. It's not always publications, but bulletin board use and publications offered on county property. How's that?
That's
It's just-
enough.
And you're going to start with a proposed list of things that would be acceptable or not be acceptable?
I can try to attack that. Yes, sir, I would.
A huge range of things that get just stuck on the bulletin board from, depending on where you are too, even in the courthouse here. I do sort of just monitor that sometimes if it's stuff that doesn't have a broad.
Well, I'm just
I don't
thinking on top of my head from some band playing somewhere to free puppies. You know, I mean, you're talking about a free range bulletin board that people are just putting stuff on for advertisement or giving something away or service for something, cleaning your house to a band concert coming somewhere, all that stuff. Here's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
I
gonna
got you.
Mr. Furley.
I'm gonna speak of what Jim Coates spoke of the other night. You know, really and truly, if we do something like it would need to be all or nothing.
Right.
Cause picking and choosing of Sally Joe's beauty salon over here versus I got 6 puppies I want to give away to you know.
It would all have to be county business stuff. Well, we can discuss that next month.
Well, I have a meeting with the county attorney tomorrow afternoon, and I'll let him start thinking about this if that's.
Well, he sent me a communication on it, and we.
You already talked to him about it?
Well, I asked him to just kind of research it a bit. I know I didn't intend to necessarily discuss it tonight or certainly give any examples, but since you brought it up, it's certainly not the business of our county employees to monitor or clean that up, including the mayor.
That's right.
And we have that going on presently, where county employees are fixing bulletin boards and cleaning up newspaper messes and publication messes for apartments and things of that nature. And we just passed something to help Mr. Spence a few minutes a week, and I think that was appropriate. I think Commissioner Robert Stevens was exactly right. I'm really suggesting we discuss that.
Good deal.
You ask the county attorney to come to our next meeting. Any other business?
I think Commissioner McAdoo has another motion.
You should say that again.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.